Hey guys, long time no see, welcome back. As always, it's Jesse here at Comics The Gathering. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update and bring you back in. So some things have been going on behind the scenes. And I haven't posted a video in a while, and I wanted to kind of give you guys an update. I haven't posted a video since January. Life happened. I had two jobs, and then I went on hiatus from one of the jobs. But during that hiatus, I met someone, and they became very important in my life. And so I devoted a lot more of my free time to that than to working on the channel. But now that that's stabilized and things are working towards a place where I can do more channel-related things, especially since the current pandemic that's sweeping the nation has left me laid off from both of my jobs. So I'm not going to be begging for money or anything like that. I am going to let you know I am going to start streaming on Twitch. I will have that information soon. And if that information is up by the ready to go by the time this video comes out, links will be in the description down below. And we're taking this day by day right now. I know a lot of people are scared, and this outbreak of COVID-19, also known to some people as coronavirus, is a very scary time. So I'm looking to bring you some fun Magic the Gathering content to hopefully distract you from what is otherwise a trying time. So that being said, I'm going to change channel direction a little bit. We've been focusing primarily on, in the past, we were just doing, variety content. And I think we're going to focus in a little bit and do some of the stuff that I want to do. You guys really like the Commander deck techs. So I actually have 4 lined up that I'm going to film. And they're each going to be covering upgrading the precons from last year, which may seem a little out of date, especially with Ikoria right around the corner. I know previews will be starting here at the time of filming in about 7 or 8 days. I know they start like April 2nd. They're going to start spoiler season for that. And I know we're getting 5 Commander precons with that. And so I will do coverage of all the Commander precons when they come out. I will probably be buying just 1 case so I can get all 5, and then doing upgrades and talking about those as they come out, so long as they look good. If they don't look like a worthwhile investment, I will tell you guys my honest opinion about them, and we will discuss those in the comments down below. But that being said, we got a Commander deck tech today, and I wanted to jump into that. We're going to be doing the Mystical Intellect deck. So that is the one with Savine, the Chronoclasm on the cover. Savine is a cool commander, but he's not the commander I wanted to go with. I think the best commander in the box is actually Elsha the Infinite. And so I went ahead and I have a deck list handwritten in front of me. These are my personal tweaks I went through. I have my own version of the deck. Casually let you guys know, I've been buying in a lot of collections here locally in Vegas. And so when I started this channel, I had 4 Commander decks. I now have 20. So we've ballooned that a little bit. And so I've been working on them and tweaking them and just playing them with a lot of my friends and trying to figure out precisely what I want them to be so they can get honed in and focused. But none of these are going to be CEDH level. These are going to be honed in and focused. You got the money to spend on upgrades, but not at the level that some of the CEDH players go to. There's none of the crazy mana rocks, no mana crypt, no mana vault. If you have those, go ahead, slot them in. You know where to put them. But these are just the other cards we need to concern ourselves with. So that being said, let's go over the commander. Elsha the Infinite has prowess and lets you look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast that card if it is a non-creature, non-land card. So basically, you have the ability to just use the top of your deck as an extension of your hand. So we're going to go over some things, and then we'll go over, what the deck's general idea is, and kind of hone it in. So We're playing our artifacts. First of all, we got a Soul Ring and plus the 3 corresponding signets. Izzet, Boros, and Azorius. All those signets we're playing, as well as an arcane signet. You want to have access to all your colors as early as possible, and also you want some top of the deck manipulation. So I also included Commander Sphere in this deck. Actually, there are some decks that I think it belongs in and some I don't. And this is one of those times where I think it actually is important to the synergy of the deck, because you might have a land on the top of your deck that you need to get out of the way to maybe get access to another card. And being able to sack Commander Sphere at no cost to you to draw that card is really, really nice. And then in the early game, it sets you up for your mana and to get your colors. Speaking of manipulating the top of the deck, one of the few pricey cards we are running in here is going to be a Sensei's Divining Top. As of recording, I think they're like between $30 and $40. Of course, I don't know. I haven't checked any of the market prices with the outbreak to see if that has affected any of the prices or demand, because demand might go down, so the value of these cards might go down because people can't gather and play. So that's your market research. Do that. You might be able to get some deals right now. Who knows? The other thing we got going is there is a combo in here, and one of our win cons, one of our potential win cons, is actually in the artifacts. So one of the things that I want to talk about before we do either of those, though, is Empowered Auto Generator. This card is included in the deck. This card is bananas insane. It's a 4-mana mana rock that seems like it's not going to do a ton, but if left unchecked, it gets so out of control. Every time you tap it, you add a charge counter to it, and then it proceeds to add mana to your mana pool of any one color equal to the number of charge counters on this card. So first it taps for 1, then it taps for 2, then it starts tapping for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see how it can get out of hand. So to help facilitate that getting out of hand, we're also playing Isochron Scepter, and then spoiler on when I get to the instance, Dramatic Reversal. That combo in here is actually very nice at letting you be able to tap and untap your auto generator for more than it costs to untap it. Obviously, Paradox Engine is banned, so you can't just keep putting things into play and doing broken stuff. If you want, you can also play several other things that tap and untap. I wanted this to be good, but I didn't want it to be broken and draw all of that aggro, so I skipped over that part. If you want to tune that in, there's a couple cuts, like I'm playing Underworld Breach in here. I would cut that, and you can put in more manipulation if that's the route you wanted to take this. You can also put in the particular trophy mages that will search up the parts you need to do that. The final artifact that I'm going to touch on, though, is Aetherflux Reservoir. This is one of our big win cons. This is primarily one of the ways we're trying to win the game. If not at least have a bargaining chip to keep people away from us. Because basically, when you have an Aetherflux Reservoir ready to go off and just dome somebody out of the game at instant speed, people tend to want to work in a way that are going to make sure that they're not going to be on the receiving end of your Death Star laser. So there's that way. There's a couple other win cons we'll talk about. So next we'll get into enchantments. As I mentioned, I am playing Underworld Breach in here right now. I do think this is a really fun enchantment because in the event that the top of your deck is not good, you can always replay the cards that were good from your graveyard off of Underworld Breach to do what you need to do. Also, if somebody wrecks your enchantments or whatever your setup may be, you can recoup some of those losses. We also need a lot of mana. The more mana, like this is a very greedy, mana-hungry deck. We have a lot of things that we're trying to cast and stick as many pieces onto the board to make sure we're protected and kind of pillow fort up in the early game. So Smothering Tithe really helps with that. Along with actually protecting us, we have Propaganda and Ghostly Prison. Jeskai Ascendancy Dictative Crewfix. Those help get us to where we need to be. And then we run a Curse of Opulence to help deter people away from us. Everybody likes free mana, so why not incentivize them to attack somebody else to get free mana? It's going to wrap up our 7 enchantments. We are playing 5 planeswalkers in this deck. We are playing 3 different Rals and 2 Teferis. This is going to be one of the pricier areas. Now, Ral's Eric does come with the deck, and he is a pleasurable inclusion, but then I also picked up a Ral Storm Conduit and a Ral Viceroy. Again, being able to, at the end of the last person's turn before it comes to you, cheat planeswalkers into play off the top of by casting them from the top of your deck is just a fantastic thing, because then they avoid getting attacked, and you can manipulate the top of your library so well in this deck. And then we play Teferi Time Raveler and Hero of Dominaria. Hero of Dominaria is just solid value. He's going to let you draw extra cards and untap land. And then Time Raveler cuts your opponents off from playing the game at instant speed and makes you the fastest, most powerful person at the board, because you can do that. So having that capability is very, very important and very good, nice for the deck. I understand that both of those Teferis are pricey right now. Hero of Dominaria has held his price point even after rotating out of Standard because of his play in Modern and now Pioneer. And Time Raveler is still in Standard and will be the backbone of Standard control decks until at least this fall. Let's get into the instance. I did mention one of them already. That was Dramatic Reversal. That's essential for the combo with Isochron Scepter. We also play a Mystical Tutor to help get the exact instant we need to the top of our deck for a scenario. It gives us a flexibility. I really actually like having a card in here. It's very, very responsive. We run the one that everybody should be running in a control deck. If you're in blue, you always got to end up playing Cyclonic Rift. We do have a Rift in here, making sure we sweep away all of our opponent's stuff. A Leadership Vacuum, card that comes with the deck. I actually really like this card. It's one of those cards that is designed for Commander, and being able to just return target player's commander back to their command zone is hilarious. Plus the card cycles when you do that and you draw a card, so you don't lose anything. Extremely powerful card. Factor Fiction, I shouldn't have to explain the power of that. Increasing Vengeance, Desperate Ravings, Blue Sun Zenith, we're getting into some draw power. Board wipe wise, I am playing a Magma Quake in the instant speed slot. As I said, you're trying to build up a ton of mana to be able to do a lot of ridiculous things, and being able to Magma Quake out a board that is not good for you at instant speed is always very nice. Mandate of Peace, one of the cards included in the deck, is really nice. It ends the combat phase, so I do like that card a lot. Gives you more protection. Brainstorm and Electro Dominance are the last two rounding out. Electro Dominance can be a finisher. It's rare that you're going to cast that, but being able to Electro Dominance out any threat off in your hand by casting it off the top of the deck is actually really nice. Sorcery wise, Past in Flames, obviously very powerful in a deck that is chaining together instants and sorceries and then trying to get them back out of the grave. We're obviously not like a Storm deck, although you definitely could go that route if you wanted to. Cleansing Nova is another board wipe that also lets us hit enchantments and artifacts if we don't want to hit creatures. Increasing Devotion, Tragic Arrogance, Fumigate, Runic Repetition, Treasure Cruise, Faithless Looting, Mystic Retrieval, Devil's Play. Not a lot to say about these cards. A lot of them are included in the deck. Divine Reckoning, Mass Diminish, Ignite the Future, Phyrexian Rebirth, Martial Coup, Ponder, Preordain, and Windfall. There's only one sorcery I really need to talk about, and that is our primary win con, Approach of the Second Sun. So, I know what you're thinking. It's Commander, you can only play one copy, and yes, I know it does tuck itself, but this seems crazy. There's actually several interesting combos that you can do, including one that I just realized I didn't make the change to, that I'm going to make the change to. I made the change in the physical deck, but not in the show notes. And that is to do the Narset's Reversal combo. You cast Approach of the Second Sun, and then you immediately respond to it, holding priority, with a Narset's Reversal. Narset's Reversal does not counter the card, it merely returns it to the hand. So you've already cast an Approach of the Second Sun. Narset's Reversal then becomes a copy of Approach. You do not win the game here because you did not cast the second Approach. It became a copy on the deck. You do gain the 7 life, and then do that. But the original Approach is back in your hand. So now on your next turn, or if you already have the mana because you've been greedily producing mana like you should, you can cast this Approach. So long as it goes uncountered, congratulations, you just won the game. So that is my favorite way to win with this deck. So definitely look at doing the Approach method. I think it's hilarious to catch people off guard with Approach in Commander. And on the fly here, a cut that I would maybe make for a Narset's Reversal. If you don't have the money for a Cyclonic Rift, or you don't own a Cyclonic Rift, you could go there, although I wouldn't recommend it. Underworld Breach would actually be fine. I think that would... It's a card I wanted to play because it plays around with the flashback sub-theme that's in the deck, that's already pre-built in the deck, so it's going to give you access to some things that you maybe wouldn't otherwise. And there's other little combos you can do by exiling a card that you wanted to that you can't afford to flash back, but you can do it for its regular mana cost, and then breaching it basically for like Faithless Looting. You could get it, you could then play it, cast it from your graveyard again for 1. So you can do things like that, where you're Faithless Looting for 1 mana from your graveyard and exiling whatever it is, 3, I think it's 3 cards. So there's that route. Finally, let's talk about creatures. There's only 7 of them. Obviously, this isn't a creature-heavy deck, but there are some creatures that synergize with what we're doing, so we're going to talk about them. The first one being Kaikar-Wind's Fury. Every time you cast a non-creature spell, you're making a 1/1 flying spirit, and then you can also sacrifice those spirits to make red mana. It synergizes super well. Really nice. Gutter Snipe. Every time you cast an instant or sorcery, you're pinging all your opponents for 2. Ties in with some of the direct burn spells we have in here that can win you the game. Helps chip those life totals low. Clever Impersonator comes in the deck and is actually really nice at copying anything on the board, doing exactly what you need it to do. Backdraft Hellkite comes in the deck. When it attacks, it gives things flashback. And I know cards like Snapcaster Mage are very expensive now. So keeping Backdraft Hellkite in was both a choice to give things in the graveyard flashback, but then also have a big opposing threat that can finish the game. Talrand the Sky Summoner, as you're casting your instant and sorceries, is going to make you an army of 2/2 flying drakes. Pristine Skywise is a nice big threat that is very easy to protect and keep your opponent from removing it from the board in this deck. And then the final one is God Eternal Kefnet. Being able to manipulate the top of your deck so that you can always get the most value out of Kefnet is probably one of the best ways to go. So that being said, in review, this is a control deck that is trying to play the Jeskai Kellers and make you an unappealing and costly target in the early game. And it's trying to win with less brute force tactics. It's trying to sneak out a win through things like Approach of the Second Sun, or maybe charging up your super laser with Aetherflux Reservoir. That's going to go ahead and conclude this deck tech. Thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to get notified as we post more videos. I'll have some more deck techs that I'm working on up in the following weeks. And then also keep an eye out. Twitch stream will be coming soon, along with arena gameplay videos as well. So, can't wait to see you guys again. Have a nice day, and peace.